I think something I'm going to try and do if I do hit max level is I am going to try and be a bit more social and get into dungeon groups and stuff. I know they're adding this like pre-made group finder to RAF, which is kind of like a middle ground between looking for dungeon and having nothing, which is what we have now. So I'll probably get used to that. I'm reminded of when Oldschool Runescape added a trade system. This was in its first year or two. They didn't have the Grand Exchange, which is their version of the auction house. And there was a massive contentious row in the community about whether to add Grand Exchange or not, because Grand Exchange was one of those big game-altering things, right? You know, much like looking for dungeon. And so eventually, a lot like the pre-made group finder, Jagex settled on this middle ground. I'm in the wrong place. Jagex settled on this middle ground of adding kind of like, I forget what they called it, but it was like this place you could go and list what you were looking for, and players would list what they were looking to sell for, and there was, instead of like just like spamming like looking for whatever, or like spamming some sort of trade window, you could wait, is it this way at all? I'm going the completely wrong way. Oh yeah, I forgot what I was doing. I was selling stuff. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, it was this middle ground where like there was an interface to assist with like actually matching up with people instead of just like scrolling through spamming text and whispering strangers and stuff. So it was to the point where like both of you already knew that they wanted to sell it for this price and you wanted to buy it for this price. And I wouldn't be surprised if the WoW Classic devs took inspiration from that, because there are so many like similarities between those two systems, like the Grand Exchange step-in system and the looking for dungeon step-in system. Although it's probably a bigger argument to just say they just took the pre-made groups tab from Modern WoW and said, this is a middle ground, and slapped it in there. But it's very similar to what Jagex did in Oldschool Runescape all those years ago. However, they did end up adding Grand Exchange after, God, I don't want to say it was that much longer, after maybe like half a year or something. People were just saying, yeah, no, either we might as well have the Grand Exchange with this system in, or can we just have Grand Exchange because that's better than this system. So I don't think Blizzard are actually going to go back like the Jagex devs did on that though. I think people will probably be okay with the pre-made group finder, because I don't know, at some point you really are just rehashing history, and I think the WoW devs are very conscious of the fact that Cataclysm was the end of a game for a lot of people, and I think this pre-made groups system is the beginning of them trying to tweak the game to be better for the players who preferred classic WoW expansions, so that they can give them Cataclysm and Mists and later expansions with the design philosophies of classic expansions to keep them playing this time. I think that's absolutely what they're doing.